That's because they're kind of like sneaking up on him, and as I drew him into the game, those openings were there for them. Fellaini almost taking advantage of him, and Naismith actually being the guy that saw the most of the action. But this thing could be 2-2. It could be a much different game than it is right now. It's really going to come down to who wants it more, and is somebody going to make a mistake? Hey, one mistake, we'll lose it.
Eric, I'm all for it if this thing opens up here in the second half. The good news to that equation is Naismith for Everton is still on the pitch here to begin the second half.
Nikita Jelavic is the second half sub, the number 7. Got the goal against Real Madrid.
Yes, he did.
I was impressed with his performance the other day. With the weird part for me was his manager's reaction. As the ball hit the back of the net, it wasn't necessarily one of those proud moments. It was almost like, wow, now I got to play him.
Well, I almost think that part of that was because Everton really looked unorganized. They didn't look very good in the first 45 minutes of that game against Real Madrid. Understandably, it is Real Madrid. But they made some substitutions going into the second half at Dodger Stadium, and it seemed to ignite things, including the goal by Jelavic.
Well, they just came out way too passive. And I think that they admitted this after the game. Tim Howard's comments were, I think we gave him too much respect. Rightly so. I think when you got guys like Mesut Ozil and Benzema and Cristiano Ronaldo running at you, you have a tendency to fall back and try and stay organized and take that defensive posture. A little bit of it tonight, but when you have teams that are working on certain things, and especially this Everton side, trying to figure out what kind of system they're going to end up playing or what system suits them, there are times when they look a little bit, what do you want to call that? Passive resistance.
See if maybe Jelavic is able to ignite things in the attacking third a bit more, or at least finish off some of the chances that Everton was able to create in the first half, but couldn't quite put that final touch to it to put it past Guaita. Teams have switched in to begin the second half. It's Valencia in all orange, attacking from left to right across your screen. Barragan trying to swing one in the opening minutes of the second half.
Well, prior to the match, we saw Jelavic down the sideline, greeting actually ex-U.S. international Joe Max Moore, ex-Coffee. Spent some time in Everton. Great to see Joe Max out at the stadium. Let's take a look and try and stay with me here. These are all the subs and substitutions are now on the field. I mean, it's going to be one of those kind of competitions where managers want to get a look at everybody, see how they react, find their feet in games like this. Unfortunately, we're going to lose Jonathan Vieira, who's, as far as I'm concerned, one of the better players. Stones will be the other substitution. Coleman will replace him.
And the one that we mentioned with Jelavic coming in for Anichebe,
which I like. I think we might get something out of that.
Just a couple of minutes underway. Marco Gandino, Eric Winaldo. To get downstairs along with the rest of our Fox Soccer crew. Happy to have you along. 5th place game in the Guinness International Champions Cup. Jonas with a chance to let that one run across his body. Couldn't find the right touch, but he does earn a corner for Valencia.
He does have tricky feet. He's just been a little unfortunate tonight. Trying to find those little pockets where he can wrong foot somebody and get a quick shot off. Eyebrows all the way up for Robles. He's trying to make sure everybody's organized.
This will be the 4th corner of the match.
Does not like somebody on his post, which is unique.
Robles will come. This time he punches
all the way out. The learning curve. Valencia illustrated.
Valencia, though, recycling their runs, getting numbers back inside the area. Driven across to the near post. Knocked away. Jagielka there for the Toffees.
It's just experience, being in the right spot, making sure that you, as a defender, you just want to be the spot that you think is the most vulnerable, the most dangerous. The one place you don't want the ball to go. It's your responsibility to be there.
So another corner. Initial ball deflected out. Michel, by the way, the player coming in for Valencia. At the end of that last sequence, the 25-year-old Spaniard. Spent most of of his time with Valencia's B team from 2007 to 2012. But just a couple of months ago, agreeing on a 3-year deal to come back to Los Murciélagos. Clearance from the back by Robles. Naismith challenging for it. Jagielka. Oviedo and back for Sylvain Distin. If you're Miroslav Djukic and you're talking to your team at halftime about how you want them to beat this Everton formation, what are a couple of the key things, Eric, you're focusing in on that you expect to see?
Well, I mean, what we're seeing right now is, don't be afraid to vary it. It doesn't always have to be pressure all the time, obviously, with the conditions and this point of the season. You can't do that. But to draw them out, because when those holes are exposed and you can get Gibson in a compromising position, that's when you have to go. So don't be afraid to move the ball quickly once you get them pinned into their own end, if you will.
And a compromising position when you're referencing Gibson, meaning trying to find a way to suck him out of that middle part.
If he can, as of right now, I mean, he's just going to try and come over and cover, but if you can get him in a wide space, and Fellaini has wandered forward,
Jonas
might get something
with the right foot. Maybe the most, outside of a couple of punches off corners, the most difficult save, if you would call it that, from Robles we've seen so far here tonight. Shots on goal, 3-1 in favor of the Spanish outfit.
And again, it's Jonas who just finds himself in that little pocket. It's not a bad strike. And he's chipping away. He's still creating those half chances and opportunities. And keep an eye on Jelic here. Makes fantastic runs once the ball gets wide.
Swung in onto the top of the 6. Jelic was the closest player there, but still a couple of yards away from
him. He wanted it, I think, not the best of crosses. Those two hardly know each other, so it'll be a learning process for both of them.
All the way across now. Michel hits it, and he gives a 1-0 lead to Valencia.
I think we were just talking about it, Mark. You get him in a compromising position. It's a fantastic run from Jonas. If you watch as this ball goes wide, watch how that line has to respect his run. He makes the pass, and then that little step right about now. Make those guys speed up. Now they've got to get themselves in a spot where they just can't get to that ball fast enough. You talk a lot about forwards and their ability to do certain. He gets a little lucky with that second touch. He's able to get it off his feet quickly, but hey, let's give number 7 a lot of credit. It's a great look at it. Keep it low and hard. You have no chance.
Well, they popped up as a goalkeeper on a silver platter right there for him, and the 25-year-old Spaniard buried it. Last season, 37 appearances with Levante. Oviedo and Everton now look to respond. Less than 10 minutes into the second half. Barkley looking for that little reverse diagonal ball to pick out the Costa Rican Oviedo.
I really like that goal. I really do. I mean, it's a smart goal. It shows his talent. But again, you see the run. You see those guys have to back up. There's that little pocket of space for him. It's such a little intricacy of the game. I mean, literally, his run, Jonas's run, allows that goal to happen.
And no question, Eric, you could see it from that last replay that Robles in goal for Everton.
No chance.
Screened by a couple different players. I think Jagielka was not at fault, but he was probably the player that was directly in the vision of the shot.
That's just a smart run. I mean, there's a reason, why he has been talked about as the guy to fill the shoes of Soldado. Will he be able to be the guy to provide the goals? You know what? I just figured out why a guy like Soldado scored so many times, because he had an unselfish forward next to him. And will they be able to find that touch? Will he be the guy to be able to score goals for them at the same rate as Soldado? Who knows? We don't know that until we do know. I was really impressed with that run. It was the speed of it. It was dictating the game, as opposed to just jogging into a play and passing it wide and just get on the end of something. The way that he went about that run forced 3 players to move out of the way, and Michel gets the goal because of it.
Eric, maybe going off topic just for a moment here. We're about 10 minutes into the second half. Speaking of a goal-scoring rate, you expect a good one from Soldado at Tottenham. You think he'll have some success at White Hart Lane, the former Valencia man?
Well, there's a pause there because there sometimes is a learning curve, and it is a different game, and there's a different kind of running. I mean, it's the build-up out of the back that people don't understand is what changes so much from forwards that come from different countries. Now, being a box goal scorer is what he is, and he will make sharp runs. But you think about that team, and you think about the weapons that they have coming from both sides. You have to think he's going to get his fair share of goals. Naismith's put in a good shift.
Almost an hour for Stephen Naismith.
He's one of the best left feet in the game. One of the better crossers of the ball. We got to see it the other night at Dodger Stadium. This is the player that I've been extremely impressed with. Morales is an up-and-comer, a Belgian international. He's a player that you just can never take your eye off. And if he gets on one of those mazes, he'll get it 60 yards out. He just won't stop. And you think he's going to pass it, and then he's got the speed to run right past you. I really enjoyed watching him play.
I think you could say the Toffees have a couple of young players that are tough to take your eyes off. We'll bring Keith Costigan into the conversation in just a moment, as Valencia win that ball back in their own end. Everton quick to take the throw. Morales immediately with a touch. His Belgian international teammate Fellaini trying to keep it alive. Let's go downstairs, Keith.
Thanks, Marco. Jared Delafeo, very subpar performance from him. The young Spaniard didn't seem to grasp his role on that right-hand side and didn't seem too interested in tracking back defensively. Martinez seemed to address this with him on several occasions in the first half. It hasn't improved here in the second. No real surprise to see him replaced. Guys?
Yeah, anytime you come out in a game like this before the 60-minute mark, which is usually the benchmark, that means your manager isn't happy with you not responding to whatever it is he said at the break. That's a quick exit.
Well, especially when your manager, in this case Roberto Martinez, is going to give you some extra minutes here in the second half, an opportunity to kind of go out and leave a good impression in his mind in this final game of the Guinness International Champions Cup. Probably anything but that, according to Keith's report.
Well, and there's obviously no language barrier. There's probably a comfort level that exists. In his way of communicating with his players, he is just time and time again, players have come back and said that they've never felt misinformed. They've always felt that they know exactly what they're doing all the time, which is a novelty in this day and age. Too many times managers drop the ball and they're unable to keep those conversations going. That has never been a criticism of Martinez. That man can talk a dog out of a bush and back in again. I mean, he is a talker.
I'm not sure what that means, but I like it. Barkley. Overlapping run. Everton couldn't connect in the final third. Morales back out wide. Tons of jerseys in yellow inside the area over the head of Jelavic. It'll pop loose for Leighton Baines, who also just came into the game.
He's just going to try and work this so he can get it back on that left foot and get a delivery in.
Oviedo trying to get it back to Baines. He does. Fellaini a little high for him to handle at the edge of the area. Not his fault there. What I do like from the two changes right now by Roberto Martinez is bringing guys, I think, Eric, that you would agree are probably in the first rotation for the first team, and that means he's going forward to try and get back into this one.
Bringing energy.
Right.
I think Naismith, maybe he certainly was the more lively of the two. but in a game like this, with this kind of setup, with the way that Martinez wants to play, he's going to be, if he decides to go to that three-back system, anybody that plays on the right or left, it's the most demanding job out there, because a guy like Lichtsteiner who can run all day for Juventus. Not a lot of guys can play on the wing in a three-back system. It's a tough job.
Good combination play there between Jelavic and Baines into the space, and Morales has the flag go up as he misses it wide anyway.
Just keep your head down. Don't look at the ref. Pretend like you never heard anything. He's trying to get his attention, but that's the way you handle that, so you don't get a yellow. It's about a half step. Obviously, that line is clear on the point of delivery. Look at that half step to the side. It's just smart defending. I've been so impressed with him. Well, this is just... That's the universal sign for cut it out.
Alan Chapman waving his hands. Guaita obliges by putting it back in play. Hour gone. Everton in the yellow tops and yellow socks, trailing 1-0.
Again, just a smart step. Morales is not slow at all. It's been a good night. I mean, as a manager, when you're watching a player, you're wondering, okay, who can I rely on and who's going to let me down? And his performance tonight has been... There's a reason to clap.
Thumping it back out. Oviedo. Gibson turning away from pressure. Ross Barkley, the 19-year-old. Distant. Has Baines available. Central ball there for Jelavic. Gets it on the second chance. Back for Distant. Baines is there as well. Tight space.
Not bad from the big man, but that's just a half step again. Mateo is just a smart defender. Man, is he good. I hated guys like that. 1 second you're on. Yeah, look, it was. The reason for a thumbs up. It's a great play from Distant. And it's just a half step. Just a little step. I mean, it's such a... Even if he is on, the referee has no choice but to say, well, that didn't look right. Flags up.
Here comes Valencia. Talking about Matu on the last sequence.
I called him Mateo, didn't I? It's a habit.
People call me Ragadino all the time.
It happens.
Jelavic. Flag comes up again.
That's where you start to get frustrated.
Eric, is it the timing of the runs, in this case Oviedo not delaying his run enough, or the service isn't coming early enough?
On this particular case, a little bit of both. I mean, this is a little bit over adventurous. He wants to take off. He sees the space. But again, that back line, Matuas has been on it all night. And then things just got a little bit more dangerous. It looks like we will get to see some offensive changes.
Juan Bernat stepping up in between the benches. Well, that'll be the end of the night for the teenager Salvo Ruiz.
Yeah, Venegas are going to get the cheers because this guy likes to run the show, man. He was just way too much to handle the other day for Inter Milan.
But I think for all the chatter we had about Jonas and how he needs to help fill a certain role in the absence now of Roberto Salgado, Ever Banega has to be the next person in that conversation too.
Well, I mean, they have talent. They have young talent. And it's not until you're in those back rooms and you're hearing the conversations between what are we going to do as a club? How much confidence does the chairman have in the manager to go at it with a young squad and to deal with some results that don't go your way. And part of that learning process, they've been dubbed as a selling club, rightly so. They've sold some of the best players in the EPL right now in the last several years with David Villa, Juan Mata, and Soldado. So it's one of those situations where you're looking at it going, at some point we got to be able to build. When we lose one, we got to replace him with 4.
Coincidentally, Everton Banega actually back in 2009 was almost a toffee. It was reported that a deal was almost done, only because of some visa issues that he wasn't able to become part of the club.
Yeah, look how he just kind of filters into that little pocket, finds some operating space. The first pass didn't go so well, but you can hear the immediate chase, a little bit of energy now. Trying to force a turnover, which they get it.
Now can they exploit it? Just wide on the left-footed shot from the substitute Bernat, who just came on.
Now that's a different look, because you bring on a couple of new faces and they bring in a little bit of energy. Not a lot of pressure, immediate pressure on the ball. Definitely threw off the Everton midfield as they tried to come out of there. That just wasn't good enough. Go right at him. Just get him to run. Completely turns him around. Unlucky not to score. That little touch, it helped it. In the end, it was going much wider. Robles will tell us after the game he had it covered.
Third corner of the second half for Valencia. Number 6 in the match by my count. Still a chance here, as Banega tried to lift one with his right foot in onto the back post. Morales.
Yeah, watch this.
Can he kick in the Jets here? He does. And there's numbers in the attack now for Everton. Looking for a response. A little heavy, but there's still a chance here. Can they salvage something? Oviedo all the way across. And out for a Valencia throw. I would think that Roberto Martinez is scratching his head.
And that's why I like this guy. I mean, this is, again, 60 yards away from the opposition's net. And you're still thinking to yourself, oh, this looks dangerous. Because when he gets on a run, you just can't run with him. I don't care who you are. He's just a lot quicker than you think. There's that run of you just almost falling forward. He's like, man, this guy's fast. I can't catch him.
2 options as well on the back post run.
Just overcooked it.
Valencia was scrambling to get numbers back behind the ball, but they still lead 1-0. Michel in the 53rd minute of play, coming on as a substitute and having an immediate impact on the 5th place match here at Sun Life Stadium.
I'll bring that one back. Banega still trying to find his touch there.
There's the 25-year-old Spanish goal scorer.
What they're doing is just kind of varying it, just dropping it just about 15 yards into the opposition's. That's where their line will be. So they're getting their spacing right and forcing Everton to break them down. And they get the pressure on the ball, and this usually results in back to the keeper or long. So let's see how they do it.
Jagielka follows that, sending it back for his goalkeeper, Robles. And now distant.
And now they'll let him play.
Gibson stepping in toward the center circle. Ball into the Everton bench. Just past the midway point of the second half, with Valencia leading 1-0.
He read his lips there. He's upset with himself. Let's talk about him some more. Let's look at that goal one more time. Watch the pass and the run. Keep your eyes on 7 and watch those yellow shirts back up. That's the only reason why that goal happened. Great strike. It's a better look at it. Keep it low. Hopeless feeling for Robles.
Yeah, I don't think he ever saw it once Michel let it go off the volley. So that's the difference in the match so far here tonight. Banega, great little turn out at the top of the 18, looking for some help. Back for Ever Banega, the former Boca man, trying to get it onto his right foot. Ibanez is there as well, and deflected back into the gloves of the Everton keeper.
That's a talented player that's asking for the ball when he knows he's only got 2 feet of space. His teammates willing to give it to him.
Gibson trying to ping one over the top there.
Not a bad idea.
first half. Valencia will just settle back in with possession of the ball. Ibanez on the return pass. Ibanez, big save there from Robles.
Wow, that kid's got some pickup. And once he got on the turn, he knows he let that one. Pretty big save for the goalkeeper, but I mean, watch the pickup. I mean, there's one thing to pass, and then watch the movement after the pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's just quicker, man. Right there, you just can't run with him.
Jagielka trying to get back.
He's having a rough night. He really is. But as a young player, I mean,
he's giving up 10 years to Ibanez. Jagielka.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, you know, these are the kind of games where the veteran players, the more experienced players, are going to rely on a step here and there and hope that situations like that don't happen. What usually happens, if it does come to pass once again, we'll probably see Ibanez laying on the ground before he even gets into the box.
And if you look at Everton, they've made a couple of changes here in the second half after the goal to try and find a response, but all of a sudden I feel like we haven't called this man Fellaini's name at all for the last 10-15 minutes.
Well, he still has to sit a little deeper in that pocket. Hasn't had a chance to venture forward. This might be a shot for him.
Ryan Oviedo.
Who's with him?
Morales onto his right foot. Ball deflected out. Gibson trying to keep it alive. Flipped outside here for Everton. A nice little touch there from Barkley.
They're trying to set up those opportunities for delivery. It's just far too deep for Leighton Baines. That's some good movement from Morales.
Didn't get it back on the return pass. Ross Barkley with the challenge to win it back. And then a touch to push it away for Jagielka.
It's a good fight from Barkley. Stay with it. Don't give up on the play.
Fellaini. Space to turn with it. Elects to play it into the feet of Leighton Baines. Oviedo. Tight space on the near side here for Morales. Flag stays down. Oviedo. Baines, this is where he can swing it in, and he does, all the way across to the back post and nobody home.
Yeah, look at where Fellaini is. Fellaini is still 30 yards away from the point where that ball went through the box. He's just kind of content to stay back there, do his job tonight. As he gets fitter, he will wander forward, and that energy and that adrenaline that he brings to any team. Whether that be for club and country, and one of the things we've noticed about him is once the ball gets wide, the run dictates the pass. He's kind of not a hard guy to miss. I mean, when you got that hairdo flying through the middle of the park, you can find it in a hurry.
And they're 6'4", 6'5".
See what he does here. He's laying back again.
Baines was actually trying to serve it in pretty deep into the heart of the 18. Still alive here for Everton. Barkley showing a little magic on the ball as he finds Fellaini. Now distant. Valencia really not applying any pressure until Everton gets to about 30 yards of the goal. Little slip pass through from Morales, Oviedo, and knocked out for an Everton corner.
Some of the corner kicks that we've seen tonight from Everton, not the same feel. They just don't have the same attack. We only have 2 Everton players venturing forward. Distin has now joined. That's only 4. That's not enough options.
First of the second half. Fellaini actually had a look at it, but I think it was one of his own teammates that distracted him just enough to keep the Belt International from contact.
He'll get a haircut for the start of the season, or he's just going to let it go all the way.
Oh, you got to let it go.
You would think, yeah.
That's like his trademark now.
It usually gets longer as the weather gets colder, though. I mean, it's hot out there. God, it's a mess.
Sissoko with the overlapping run. It's Oviedo tracking back. Clearance comes once again in possession for Valencia. Romeu, Vanega.
We haven't called Romeo's name a lot tonight, and there's been no mistakes. But he has certainly been a player that's done his job. That's how that's done.
Morales well positioned to pick up on the giveaway. Sense of urgency right now into the 75th minute for Everton. At least I don't sense it up here at Sun Life Stadium, Eric. Victor Ruiz will send that one clear. Jelovic trying the glancing header to flip it into space for Oviedo, and nothing doing for the Toffees. We tick our way toward the final quarter of an hour here in the 5th place match. Everton still searching for a response to the 53rd minute goal by Valencia. Barragan. Little exchange, heavy on the touch in a foot race was distant. Robles comes and sends it out. A lot of chatter the last couple minutes from Eric and I about Fellaini. For more on that, we go downstairs to Keith.
Thanks, Marco. Marouane Fellaini was one of Everton's biggest attacking threats last season. As Eric mentioned, not really allowed to get forward in this new system. Both he and Leighton Baines have been linked with moves away from Everton. Reporters I spoke to seem to think Fellaini is closer to the exit door and may be on the move sooner rather than later. Guys?
Keith, do you have an inside track as to what a couple of the clubs might be?
The clubs mentioned, they're obviously Manchester United and Arsenal, and obviously David Moyes being a big fan. It wouldn't be a surprise to see him end up at Old Trafford.
Rich get richer.
And it's one of those things where it is not a reflection. You know, I mean, it's always a weird thing when you have a player that is so important to the fabric of Everton for so long. And he just adjusted so quickly to be a part of that team. But things are different now. It's a different philosophy. It's a different way of playing.
There's the aforementioned Fellaini.
Come on, go score a goal for me right now. Right now.
Back for Fellaini, cutting in between a couple of defenders, and he took it right back in towards pressure and an orange jersey to clip it away.
And to be fair, there's a reason for that. That's the first opportunity he's had to really come up against somebody that he had to take on and beat. And you know what? It's a lot to expect from a guy to get 75 minutes into a game. If you've played so much defense and you run your socks off, and then you get in that spot where it's okay, you know the play, you know it's a great opportunity to score, but your body lets you down. Yeah, he's still frustrated about it. There's a ton of things he could have done. As they broke out here, he is the one that starts it, and then what we usually see with the head down, and I'm going to get into a good spot. He's working. The pass is good. You know, maybe he just could have done 2 or 3 things there, and he's just like, why did I do that? I mean, of all the things I could have done, why did I do that?
Hindsight is always 20/20. Maybe let it run across his body onto his left foot.
Yep. Hey, maybe you have a managerial career in your future after all.
Clearly no. 78th minute now. Vanega.
There is something special about him. He's played 19 times for Argentina for a reason.
The goal scorer, Gel, wide for Barragan. Challenge comes in from Oviedo. Barragan sidesteps it all the way to the end, and he in fact touched it last. Antonio Barragan out for a goal kick for Everton.
That's a long one back.
Just a little less than 2 weeks away from beginning their first Premier League campaign without David Moyes since 2001. Roberto Martinez certainly has some work cut out for him.
He's a very astute man. And being meticulous in the way you go about your work, taking over a group like this that's done something their way for so long, there's going to be some speed bumps. It's going to be difficult.
Well, and those speed bumps get a little bit bigger if you don't get off to a good start, I would imagine. Then that's when all the criticism starts about, well, why are we doing this in the first place?
Yeah, and one of the things about Martinez's menace, he danced out of that on several different occasions. And again, his ability to communicate, his ability to talk his way out of trouble has kept him in a job for a long time. I mean, let's remind everybody, they get relegated.
Ibanez trying to win the loose ball. Back for Barragan. Parejo. And here comes Valencia with the surge forward. They're not.
No options up top. Have to circle back around. They have to break him down. It won't be across.
Ali Sissoko. Leading 1-0 though. Valencia can afford to bring it back out towards midfield. Hold on to possession.
Again, this is where technique is so important. Every single player comfortable on the ball, even in tight spots, making good decisions, making the ball move. Yellow shirts chasing 1- and 2-touch soccer. It's pretty good stuff.
To about 12, 13 passes on this sequence here. Dipping into the space, pressured on the ball.
They'll let that go. Could have been whistled a foul. Advantage being the call, rightly so.
Sissoko creating some width on the pass from Bernat. Return pass for the second half substitute. Walking, and the left-footed shot from Ibanez directly at Robles.
There's some tired bodies back there.
Plenty of soccer action coming your way. Not just the third place and final games on the Guinness International Champions Cup, but tomorrow over on Fox Soccer Plus, it's CONCACAF Champions League back in action. Le Impact de Montreal against the San Jose Earthquakes, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Real Esteli also in action. Taking on Sporting Kansas City. It's the CONCACAF Champions League back on Fox Soccer. Still waiting, Eric, for one of the MLS teams to go on a run a la Real Salt Lake a couple of years ago and get back into the final and win that darn thing.
You know, we'll be here all night if I start explaining why that's so problematic, but I'm with you.
Across the front of the Everton goal mouth, some contact over there. It was Seamus Coleman defending on that far side. And it looked like he got a piece of Bernat.
Just caught him at the end of it. That's been lively. His first touch, moving that line back, so important. I just caught the end of it. Let's see if Everton can muster up something.
Oviedo tripped up to give Everton a free kick. I have to say, for as good as Jelavic was coming in as a substitute in the second half against Real Madrid, I don't know we've seen much at the ball at his feet. Is it the same case as when Anichebe was in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that they are playing tonight, it's been very difficult to be the front runner. You kind of get left out on an island at times. Fellaini's had a frustrating night. It's indicative of that pass right there. But, you know, the striker's life and the striker's world is 88 minutes sometimes. You do nothing. The ball hits you in the air, you're a hero.
Isn't that what separates the good ones from the average ones? Or even the great ones? Those ones that stay turned on even when it hasn't gone their way all night long, and all of a sudden, that one moment of brilliance to tie a game or win a game.
Or luck.
That's it. Fellaini tripped up near midfield to give the Toffees a free kick as we're ticking into the 84th minute of play here at Sun Life Stadium.
Let's see how this exchange goes. Not particularly a standout game, not a great game. Definitely they're going to have a conversation. And it's an argument. Yeah, they'll talk about it later, but I had a feeling that was coming.
Good shot by you. Gibson puts in almost 84 minutes on the night here in Miami, and he makes way for Leon Osman, the 32-year-old Englishman. He has, you have to think, tough for Gibson. And yes, there is other competitions besides just the Premier League that Everton will participate in, but you got a guy like Osman sitting right there in that spot. That guy has been the backbone of the central midfield for so many years for the Toffees.
And in my opinion, one of the goals of the year last year. Oh, look at that.
Chance to add to the lead here for Valencia. Contact inside the area.
It's tricky. Let's see how much gas he's got in the tank.
Morales downshifting into third gear. Osman comes in to help out.
The other part for Gibson, I mean, think about it. He comes from Manchester United to Everton.
Baines.
To a manager that wanted him. Now the manager has gone to Manchester United. So he's in a unique situation.
Gibson was one of those guys that followed in the footsteps of the likes of Tim Howard, Luis Saha. Spending a good amount of time with the Red Devils and then making that transition and moving over.
There's been a lot of crossover there, Wayne Rooney. And it's one of those things that probably factored into the equation when Sir Alex Ferguson, because when Sir Alex Ferguson steps down, they ask him, who do you think should replace you? Now, it's not usually the case. And you have to think that over the years with all those conversations about players, about would this guy work here, and all those conversations that they had to factor into the thinking of Sir Alex saying, you know what, David Moyes might be the guy.
Don't they always say, though, you don't want to be the guy after the guy?
They do say that. But
in this case, the guy to follow in the huge footsteps of Sir Alex.
I don't think Sir Alex is going to disappear. And I do think that there will be plenty of times that even though he's not the manager, it will be a different door, but that door will be open for any advice.
Baines trying to pick out Jelavic. And Guaita just enough to parry it up into the air and then grab his own rebound. Taking into the final 4 minutes of this second half.
One of the classiest things I think I've seen in a long time is Sir Alex Ferguson's address to the Manchester United fans on that last day. And he said, your job now is to support your new manager.
Yep. Gives you chills.
Yeah, and very seldom do you see. I mean, and we were in a room, the people who aren't soccer people, and if you knew nothing else about the man, you would describe that situation as pure class.
Sissoko. Banega. Ibanez.
Just a little bit, but you see the pace once again. Ibanez has just got an extra little gear.
That's a guy that's pushing for a roster spot right now, just 20 years old. A lot of time with the reserve team in Valencia. Looking for an opportunity to make a statement for Miroslav Djukic. Remember these two games here tonight. Earlier, Inter Milan winning in penalties against Juventus in a preseason Italian derby, and then this one here for the fifth place game between Everton and Valencia. The appetizers, if you will, before tomorrow.
The fireworks have started. Yep. Jose Mourinho has already fired the first shot at Ronaldo, saying he's not the real Ronaldo. So we'll see how that exchange goes tomorrow. That should be interesting.
Right, when they greet each other.
Oh, we'll greet or avoid. We'll see.
Let me get this guy on for you. Yep.
As the substitution comes in here for Everton, bringing in Aruna Kone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our All-State save of the game. Brought to you by Allstate. Protection is our game. Are you in good hands?
Where's that extra gear? I mean, Michel with the pass to Ibanez, and he's just, if you watch it again, right here, keep it low, kid. Don't shoot it at his hands. That's the one place he wants it. Once that goalkeeper, Robas, gets off the ground a bit, he'll learn as he gets older. Hit it low, man.
Toughest spot for the goalkeeper to get to is down by his ankle right there.
Spoken like a true goalkeeper.
I know nothing. I learned it all from Dr. Joe.
Oh, Dr. Joe.
If he's listening, number one goalkeepers camp. He wants that to be out there. Morales. Osman tries to hit the big switch. Oviedo waiting underneath it.
Great running behind there.
Can this be the movement that Everton has been looking for? Barkley.
It almost worked out.
A little creativity on the touch.
How about that?
Oviedo shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Baines on his favored left foot, bending it into the back post.
Kone trying to get on the end of that. It looked a bit uneasy the other night. It wasn't his best performance. He's the confidence of his manager, but he's got to find his own level of confidence as he tries to work his way into this team. There's that element of familiarity with your manager, but you still have 20 other guys to meet and get to know.
And Kone, clumsy challenge there with Ali Sissoko.
Unnecessary.
Valencia can, as they have done with the ball at their feet for much of the second half, walking pace, is forcing Everton to try and pick the ball up, create some sort of turnover, and we haven't seen any of that from Everton. Osman, distant. 90 minutes are behind us. And the fourth official, Ted Uncle, races the board for a minimum of 1 minute of added time.
And now we finally see Fellaini moving way forward, and then they get caught.
Ibanez slows up.
Again, I got to say, Romeo has had a solid night with the number 6. A little bit late. This young team has really impressed. There's a good look at Romeo. Looking fit with a 2-month break with the injury at Chelsea. That's to think about for their manager.
Last few seconds ticking away here in the 5th place game. Valencia opened this competition with a loss to AC Milan. Probably their best performance as Ibanez has a chance to double the lead. Their best performance coming in their 4-0 win against Inter Milan, and they close out the Guinness International Champions Cup by capturing 5th place with a 1-0 win against Everton.
And you have to say, an impressive performance in this competition from Valencia. I mean, maybe these kids are the real deal. We'll find out when the season starts. But they were impressive here. They were impressive again tonight. It's going to be fun to watch them as they start.
Certainly still some questions, but they've answered some of them over the last week and a half here in the Guinness International Champions Cup. Your final score, 1-0 Valencia over Everton. We're back to wrap things up in a moment.
Beer is better in black. Dresses are better in black. And even getting home safe is better in black. All right, everybody in. Enjoy Guinness Black Lager responsibly.
The critics agree. Build Your Own Pancakes Part 2 is a hit. I put caramel and bacon, says Bobby. I like it when syrup goes down the side, says Jenna. And Michael was left speechless. Build Your Own Pancakes are back for a limited run, only at Denny's.
Getting a new Kia has never been easier than right now. Introducing our biggest event ever, the Kia Sign It and Drive It sales event. With 0 down and 0 due at signing, it won't take much to drive home in a new top safety rated Optima or a powerful Sorento. And both come back by one of these. So hurry to the Kia Sign It and Drive It sales event today, because nothing this easy lasts forever. Lease a new Optima or Sorento today for 0 down, 0 due at signing for qualified customers.
I'm James Sherman. And I'm Ben Ennis. Tonight on Fox Soccer News, the ICC continues as Everton battles Valencia and a pair of Italian giants square off. Highlights of that and much more tonight at 11 on Fox Soccer News.
This should be memorable.
A very special night in the history of football.
Uh-oh, watch out.
Could this be the clinching moment?
This is mind-blowing. This is the moment. It is the moment. Oh, my goodness. He's done it again. Unbelievable. But it's really becomes reality. This is the stop of legends. This is the stop of legends.
Sonia Cross, El Paso PD.
You're working late.